Hey everyone, Unicorn Dust Designs here again, Sammy. Today we are going to be popping into my cabinet because we're going to DIY some like fall, Halloween things using pillowcases. And if you've watched my show for any amount of time, you know I'm always using my pillowcases. So let me flip. Here is like my linens kind of cabinet, and I am somebody who always buys the like seasonal, pillowcases. You know what I'm talking about? Like these, where it's like lemons on one side and then you have absolutely nothing on the other side. You guys, I have just too much stuff. So these are actually still pretty nice. Might lint roll that and reuse that baby this year. I think all of these. Look at that. Yeah, these are, did I already cut that one? No, I don't think so. Okay, so I save mine every single year. There's pink ones, there's Christmas ones, and usually if they're like pretty damaged, because I have kids and most of these end up on the floor and have like juice stains on them and stuff, then I will take the back and I will reuse them. Now, you don't have to have these pillowcases. You guys could have floral pillowcases, striped pillowcases, whatever old pillowcases you have, and create these DIYs. I think actually the more pattern, the better. But this is what I have. So this is what I'm going to show you how to DIY with today. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off by getting our pillowcases and lint rolling them. I wash all of them, but y'all know dogs, Hank's hair's all up in these, I'm sure. So we're going to lint roll them. Then I'm going to fold this in half. I'm going to draw I'm going to call it a rounded edged triangle. And we are going to go ahead and cut that out. Now keep in mind, when you are doing something like this, even if you're sewing or gluing, you want to make sure that you keep some kind of seam allowance. And what I mean by that is wherever we're going to glue, that's going to take up space on your fabric. So it's going to make it a little smaller than you think. So since I'm cutting inside the marker, I need to make sure that I'm making it big enough. So I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down there. So we're going to cut 3 more. I did like a big, medium, and small in these sizes. And I could have taken out my sewing machine, but I wanted to keep this very simple for the people that don't have one or don't know how to use one. So after we're done, I'm going to go ahead and just take my hot glue gun, and you'll see as I go around the edges, I'm not going like all the way to the edge. I'm keeping a little bit of space. That way it almost looks like it's more sewn. And then we need to make sure that we keep a hole in our fabric. This is where we're going to be able to stuff our filling. So again, taking that, not going all the way to the edge of the fabric. This is where I'm talking about your seam allowance. That's going to make our fabric a little bit smaller when you stuff it. Now I'm going to take this little pokey thing I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to fray the edges just a bit. Not a lot, just a little bit, And then I'm going to get my paint out. So I'm going to use Liquid Sunshine and Fire Starter. These are like your true, authentic yellow and orange that you would normally see. And I am going to paint all of the bottoms, just eyeballing how far I want to come up. Now, I've seen people spritz water on this to like move the paint, but I don't know why I was having like a fear of water, moisture, and then the filling in there. So I didn't do it, and the paint moved just fine for me. After we're done doing that, we're going to grab Fire Starter and we're going to put that in the middle. So you obviously can see we're making candy corns. And I was inspired by Antique Farmhouse to make these because I'm doing a dupe sell of Antique Farmhouse on my Whatnot. Saw these, knew I had to make them. So I just flipped them on over, eyeball where that color stopped and began. Well, we know where it began. And then I'm just painting it on the other side. Make sure you merge that yellow and that orange, or I guess you really don't have to. It would kind of look cute if it was like yellow, a block of the fabric, and then orange block of fabric. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to paint the top. You can tell I'm recording this on a weekend because the kids are out of control. Everybody's crying. I'm going to grab my brown ink. This I actually found at a garage sale score with like a bunch of other colors as well. And I'm just going to distress those up just a little bit. It's not a lot, but you do you. Now I'm going to take the Pretty in Plaid stamp. I'm going to use 3 out of the 4 that come in the stamp, and I do have these available on my website. I'm going to tape off the top and the bottom. That way I just have some security that like my ink or the stamp doesn't go onto the other colors. And we are going to go ahead and start stamping. So I don't know why I don't use these more often. This is definitely one that I had used it and then it was kind of out of sight, out of mind. But the antique farmhouse ones had this like pattern on them, and right away I thought of these stamps. So make sure when you are stamping on fabric that you put a little bit more ink on there and you use a lot more pressure in the application. This is where a brayer would come in handy, but it wasn't near me and I was being lazy. So we're just going to use the hand. This ended up being my favorite one stamp wise on how it looked. Now I'm taking the filling. I told you, I think in the last video or so, that I just get a pillow, one of like the $5 pillows from Walmart. Who knows? They're probably way more than that now. And I just use the filling out of those. It's really easy and it's inexpensive. And you want to make sure that you pack those pretty good. You don't want to like squeeze it and fill like the other side. You want it to be nice and cushioned in there. And then again, referencing how I said that seam allowance, do you see how when we glue, it takes out some of the edge and makes your piece just a tad bit smaller? So make sure you keep those holes big enough for you to put in your filling. After we're done with that, we're going to accessorize. So I'm taking this cheesecloth. I got this from Walmart, stained it with some coffee, and we're just going to tie that around. We're going to pull apart those little ends right there. And then I'm going to take the scrap fabric that we had cut off from the pillowcases, and we're going to create some tags with those. So after I'm done wrapping this one, we are going to go ahead and grab that, and I'm just kind of cutting rounded edged triangles, boxes. I think it's more a triangle than it is a square. I said boxes instead of square. Whee. And then we're going to fray those as well. I'm going to grab the Apothecary stamp set, and I'm going to, since I have 3 different sizes, I'm going to do it as like a little bundle and put trick or treat on there. And this turns out so cute, you guys. If you don't have the Apothecary stamp set in your stash, you need it. Like, I love having the option of doing these like little small items, doing quotes on things. This is definitely a stamp you want in your stash. And I do have some available on the website. All right, so once I get those stamped, I'm going to hot glue just the corner to the little knot of the cheesecloth. And then I'm going to add a little button to almost look like the button is what's holding the tag. And this is where I always say, have fun with it. Do it how you would like, accessorize it. I've seen these done with like little safety pins. You could add some little, fall floral pick in there. And this is how they turned out. For these being a pillowcase, you guys, I think these turned out pretty dang cute. And if you join my show on Whatnot, you'll see the dupe version of this on Antique Farmhouse. And I have to say, I like mine better. So I hope you guys enjoyed these, and I hope you have fun creating some yourselves. Now, this next one, I grabbed this Dollar Tree witch hat, and it was rough. The glitter was falling out. You couldn't even see the little buckle anymore. So I decided I wanted to cover it. So getting my pillowcase, I'm going to trace 2 circles, or 1 if you fold your pillowcase in half. I'm going to cut inside of my permanent marker. And then with the first circle, we're going to go ahead and cover the bottom of this. This hat was super nice and sturdy. Like, it wasn't flimsy. So I thought it was a great hat. It was a mess. So I knew that I could cover it and make it really pretty. So after we do that one, we're going to get the second circle. Now the second circle, you're going to fold in half and you're going to make some slits in it. Then fold it the other way, another slit.
Obviously, I made that one way too small, so we're gonna make some bigger slits on this. And you want it to fit over. Now, it does not have to be perfect. You'll see that like it is kind of, see how it's like setting on the sides? That's okay because we're gonna cover that. So again, I am making sure that I get the rim of the hat really good. I don't want any of that fabric coming up, and I'm gonna glue that to the top base of the hat. I'm going to grab another piece of random pillowcase. I did not measure this, you guys. I was totally winging it and just trying to figure it out as I go because I've never done one of these before. So I am just wrapping it around and just kind of like cutting the excess off where I think it needs to be cut off. So I'm sorry if it's hard for me to explain this. So I'm going to glue and start off at one point, and then I'm going to start wrapping it around to see if I need to cut anything off. And I found that it was fairly simple. You guys, these little pink scissors, I got these at Dollar Tree and they cut fabric like nobody's business. They are amazing. So now that I got that to size, I'm going to go ahead and glue that, making sure that I glue the base and the hat itself. We're going to bring that on around, tuck that into that other piece of fabric, and now I'm going to pull tightly on this other flap, and then I'm going to glue it down, and I will cut the excess of this part off of our hat. So you can see right there. Perfect. All right, now the hats, or sorry, the rim. You could still see the black, which I was not digging. It looked like a mess and not very finished. So I'm going to take twine, and this, you could get creative and you could use like, beads or anything you want. And I am going to just go around the hat and cover up that black so that it looks more finished when the hat is done. I'm then going to take our pillowcase. I'm going to cut 2 strips of fabric off of it. I just had to play around with the size of the rim to see what size the strips of the fabric needed. And I am going to fold them over. So you can see right here, I'm going to start it off, and then I'm kind of like folding it backwards onto itself to create a fold or like a ruffle or a pleat, and then gluing that down. So you can see how I'm folding it back. I don't like hot glue the, I don't know, the base piece down, because when I press my finger on top of it, the glue kind of like goes through the fabric and it adhered to our base. So I just continue to do that all around. Now, when my piece of pillowcase runs out, all I do is get a second piece and I just start that pleat once again, excuse me. Um, and then I go all the way around. And then, like I said, you accessorize. So grabbing that cheesecloth, once again, this, you guys, this turned out to be like the prettiest neutral witch hat I've ever seen. We're going to tie that around. I'm going to go ahead and get a little piece of hot glue just to tack that back so it doesn't ride up the witch's hat. I'm going to pull that cheesecloth apart, and then we are going to make another little tag just like we did in the previous DIY. And this one's just going to put, I can't talk, you guys, 31 on it. And keeping with the theme of the little buttons, I'm going to go ahead and adhere a button to the base of that. And y'all, I just went ahead and stuck this on a spool with my little ghost that I made, and I love how this turned out. I feel like if this was in a Kirkland's or something, somebody would pay good amount of money for it. I think it came out so high-end looking. I wish I had a bigger witch's hat to do this on, because I mean, how stunning would that be? Now, our next one is a ghost. All I did was search ghost fabric cutout on Google. This little guy came up and he was perfect. It prints to this size. I didn't have to resize this at all. I'm going to go ahead and fold my pillowcase in half. And then again, you guys, just like I taught you in the first one, we're going to trace it with our permanent marker. Make sure you keep some space because we're going to stuff it and we have to glue it. So I'm going to cut on the inside of the permanent marker because we do not want that black showing. And then once we are done with that, We are going to go in with our hot glue, or if you like to sew, then you can sew your edges. Well, I lied. I'm going to fray it first. Then we are going to glue it and make sure that you keep that hole for your stuffing. And this is a little different than most because we are gluing it. We do not have to do this reverse side, like the fabric inside out. If you were sewing, you would need to do inside out. No, you really don't, because if you like the little like rustic edges. Okay, anyways, you guys. Now I'm taking some orange fabric. This is from Dollar Tree. I drew half of a heart, and I'm going to glue these cute little orange hearts to my ghosts. I just drew on the eyes with some permanent marker. You could also use buttons. I tried the buttons, but I don't know, I was not digging it whatsoever. But I included buttons somewhere on here. So after gluing the hearts onto our ghosts, then I take a button and just add it somewhere on the heart just to keep the theme going here. See, right there. And these turned out so cute. So easy to make. And y'all, I know you guys have some kind of pillowcases you do not use anymore. These could be cute as well to use, fabric that you have from your mom or like your children or something, and kind of just like keep the spirit alive in making things like this with that fabric. And this would not be a fall Halloween video without a pumpkin. So I am folding this up and I'm going to cut out a rectangular shape. I think I saw this somewhere on Pinterest. I'm not sure, you guys. My mom brain is fried. And we're again going to do the hot glue, making sure not to go right on the edge. And then I'm going to go back to the Pretty in Plaid stamp. I really liked this pattern, so that's what I chose to do. If you guys had ticking stripe fabric, oh my gosh, these would be gorgeous. I'm going to take this tarnished old spoon. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in our pumpkin. I'm going to glue that top on. And you guys, when you're doing pumpkins, literally, the choices are endless. One, for what a pumpkin could be, and two, what a stem could be. So many possibilities. And then we're going to glue our fabric bow on to our pumpkin. I've shown how to make that quite a bit lately, so I won't do that again. But I hope you guys enjoyed this movie. No. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show video, and I hope that it inspired you to get out that fabric and start creating. Please leave me a comment down in the description box if you enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend.